What's going on, everybody? This Afro Think Tank. Did y'all see Donald Trump's little birthday party where he had a whole bunch of sweaty white men beat each other up in the humidity for his enjoyment while he fell asleep? Yeah, he spent $60 million of good taxpayers' money to throw himself his own UFC birthday party disguised as UFC 250 event for America, even though you would have to have a subscription to Paramount in order to watch this supposed event made for Americans that, could only be watched, if you via subscription, even though it was paid for by, the taxpayers, that fed and made rich all his boys who got all the unbidded contracts to build the structure and throw the structure. And the thing was also sponsored by Truth Social, Donald Trump's website. So I guess he paid himself to sponsor the event where he forced a bunch of Marines to have mandatory fun day, and then where they were instructed to be very enthusiastic and be amped anytime the camera came around them, and to where every UFC fighter after winning the fight had to go and praise the Fuhrer himself, who sat next to Dana White, took his nap next to Dana White, as Dana White was obviously embarrassed that he has to sit next to this guy who he will be clipped with as he fell asleep, trying to pretend like he didn't see that dude snoring while farting, stinking up the place, because he wears large diapers. That's why his suit's always big. That's why a multi-billionaire can't buy a decent fitted suit, because you'd see the diaper imprint. All right. So after that, of course, one of his Arab or white UFC fighters who won his fight, what did he say, after, winning his fight and being hopped up on testosterone and being falsely gaslit by a bunch of Marines who are given instructions to be super enthusiastic, and a bunch of highly curated pan views of an empty event made to look full, because I'm a professional boxer watcher, and I know when the place is empty and they try to make it look like it is not empty. That place was definitely empty, i.e., all the white shirts in the background to make the safe place look filled up, all the extreme cornered angled photography that kept everything looking down to make the place look like it was a lot of people, and all the flashy lights in the back so that it can distract you from the fact that there were no one sitting in those seats other than the Epstein class and those who support the Epstein class and forced military personnel who were forced to perform, all right, in the mid-goddamn summer, nasty, thick-ass, disgusting, life-draining heat of Maryland during the summertime, where all the UFC fighters, especially the heavyweights, were clearly suffering from dehydration and suffering from heat exhaustion, which was obvious by at the end of every single fight. You can see that these people who were fighting, whether they won or lost, all looked like they were losing because they were dying slowly, because nobody should be fighting outside in humidity, in the heat, all for a white 80-year-old to not even be watching because he's too busy taking his nap. Crazy. But yeah, so the one guy, he was so excited that he won, even though every single fight was made to be most impactful by putting a mid-tier fighter with a slightly non-mid-tier fighter and then gassing up the mid-tier fighter to make it look like it was some sort of historical event, when the only fight that actually mattered was the French dude Gant, who beat the shit out of Pereira, right? He whooped his ass, all right? The black guy from France, who everybody was booing there because he was black, not because he was from France, because this was a white superiority event, and all white people, and Pereira, who's a Brazilian native / white mixed mulatto, but passes as white. They was hoping that he would, put down the French black guy, but the French black guy beat the fucking shit out of Pereira, completely and totally embarrassing him. They didn't like that shit at all. Other than that, all the other fights were washed up fighters who were on their last laugh, and they was going to accept that check because they're on hard times, and they was willing to embarrass themselves and pander to the Fuhrer themselves to get that final check. That's what that was. Mid-level fighting at best. Your best fighter showed up and got arrested. The only American fighter got banned because he wouldn't praise Israel, all right? So you didn't put him on the card because he wouldn't kiss Trump's ass and he wouldn't praise Israel on behalf, of UFC. So the UFC said he couldn't come. The White House said he couldn't come. But he had a ticket, so he went anyway. And Donald Trump and his CIA, FBI, and Secret Service escorted him out and arrested him. The only American UFC champion, right, that was not allowed to fight at the supposed American celebration for American. You know, the only white, stereotypical white American champion that should be representing, you know, your stereotypical white America, your American with a capital M. He was arrested when he showed up because he would not kiss Israel's ass. He's American enough with a capital M, but he ain't Jewish enough, all right? He don't bow down to the IDF and Benjamin Netanyahu, so that disqualified him, even though he's a white all-American with a capital M American UFC champion. Yeah, he couldn't show up at Trump's birthday party. He was uninvited to Trump's birthday party, right? So to top it off, because you know who Trump hates the most? Obama, right? So one of the little mid-tier, you know, champions, he won. He was feeling gassed up. He was excited. He decided, you know what I'm going to talk about? You know what I'm going to do? You know, at this White House event, I'm going to be as unprofessional as I can to impress Donald Trump. I'm going to talk about the previous president's wife and say that that woman looks like a man. I'm going to say Michelle Obama looks like a man. I'm going to stand next to Joe Rogan, and I'm going to say in the White House that Michelle Obama looks like a man, and I'll try to do call and response to get the whole crowd to agree with me. At the White House, at the people's house, a sporting event that shouldn't be involved in politics, that's what we had. These are the same people that got mad when Colin Kaepernick took a knee, right? And they said, you shouldn't allow sports and politics, just shut up and dribble, da-da-da. You see, when we do it, when we protest injustice, oh, sports, no politics, blah, 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 blah. But when they do it, it's all American. You see the double standard? It's ridiculous. So this ridiculous event was topped off by even more unprofessional, ridiculous commentary and even more unprofessional fighters who displayed exactly what this is about. This is white men oiled up celebrating each other. This is white hairy men oiled up celebrating each other on behalf of Donald Trump. Sweaty white men who want to see white men glisten in their underwear for Donald Trump, glistening in the Washington, D.C. heat, the swamp people. That's what they wanted. That's what this was about. They didn't want no women there. All right, I don't even know if there was a female fight. You know they don't like me. They don't like females, right? This was all men, all Epstein class, glazed up men. This is like the gladiator days. Y'all seen Rome? Remember Spartacus when the well-to-do would get all the gladiators together and oil them down and participate in physical activities, you know, in the after party. This is what they was doing. All the Epstein class. They had all those goddamn UFC glistened up and standing like statues. They probably had them performing sexual activities at the after party and shit. Like these are them days, all right? That was some straight Roman Coliseum, gay, homosexual, erotic, man meat, freaking hour type shit right there. Like straight up, sponsored by Red Bull and True Social. It was disgusting. It was an embarrassment. It was criminal because they spent our money and then wanted us to pay for it again. Like, that's ridiculous. And the South Lawn looks terrible, right? The Rose Garden looked terrible. And it's going to cost us more millions of dollars to undo everything Donald Trump has done, right? But that is hey, at least y'all don't have a black president, right? I guess y'all can keep saying that. You know, y'all can pretend like everything is great, you know, and y'all don't have that black president, so you won. But in actuality, you guys are losing. Anyway, if you guys tell me what you think in the comment section, it's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Really ugly moment at the White House UFC event Sunday when heavyweight champ Josh Hokett, after his beatdown of Derek Lewis, decided to take his moment in the sun and smear a former First Lady.
Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hockett.
I cannot even imagine how Republicans in Congress or the MAGA world would react if a similar disgusting thing was said about First Lady Melania Trump at an official event. And it would be nice if there was one standard for such things and how we treat each other. The event, of course, had already raised a lot of eyebrows and criticism. UFC paid for the event, but they also, no doubt, made a ton of money in merchandise sales and sponsorship deals and subscriber growth. And to critics, frankly, the whole event looked rather political, and to others, the merging of politics and entertainment was distasteful. Part of the staging at the press conference took place at the Lincoln Memorial with military personnel and honor guards being used. People objected to the idea of using military honor traditions for an entertainment event, using a almost sacred memorial site, the Lincoln Memorial, for a promotional event. Now, the Trump folks argued that this is all in celebration of America's 250th birthday. This is not about Trump. This is not about MAGA. This is not about the Republican Party. I guess the question is then, is insulting a Democratic First Lady part of that celebration? And if so, is the celebration for everyone in this country or just one particular group of people with certain political beliefs?
When asked about Hockett's comments, White House spokesman Stephen Chung said, quote, "He had a great win last night. He showed toughness and the ability to pressure his opponent both on his feet and on the ground." When I asked, hey, the White House understandably protests when people insult First Lady Trump, how does your refusal to criticize Hockett for his remarks about First Lady Obama, how does it square with that? The White House refused to directly address the question.
And just so we're clear, so we can have a smooth, crisp interpretation of what white men mean when they say that black women are like men, or they act like men, or they look like men. What they are saying is, as a white man, when they look at that black woman who they cannot get with or can't compete with, that black woman's feminine power is so strong that my masculine power that manifests through my white skin is not strong enough or not powerful enough to attract that female power because it's too strong and intimidating. That's what they mean when a white man talks trash or tries to masculate the black woman. They're just recognizing that that black woman's feminine power can only be complemented by the overwhelming dominant masculine power of the black man, who they are in fact afraid of. They're afraid of the black man, and they are intimidated and also afraid of the black woman. So it manifests themselves in a way of where they talk trash about how strong the black woman is because they feel inferior to that black woman. So that is the proper interpretation. Anytime you hear a white man disrespect a black woman about her aesthetics, because clearly he's intimidated by her strength. Anyway, the more you know.
Donald Trump could have been pantsed by Vladimir Putin in front of the entire world, and it would still be less embarrassing than whatever just happened at the White House. This miserable, dementia-ridden fascist passing out at his own birthday cockfight event on the White House lawn, brought to you by Paramount and UFC. None of the expensive mega donors and billionaires in the crowd who paid all that money to be there looking like they have even the slightest interest in what's going on. Meanwhile, the bread and circuses minus the bread crowd are shrieking and throwing sweat and cigarette ash everywhere. Happening in one of the most politically sacred places in the United States, in the Western world even. The symbol of what the founding fathers fought and bled for reduced to a plastic arena for blood sport. Degenerate grifters can peddle their nonsense. Look at the state of that hat. Trump can be given even more special validation prizes for no reason at all. You've literally got presidential portraits in the same frame as UFC fighters' balls. Got the Oval Office being used as a walkout chamber, as a backstage green room for a billionaire CEO wife-beater meathead. Meanwhile, Sean Strickland, who absolutely is still a massive scumbag, was very publicly hustled out of the venue because he had previously spoken out against Trump being in the Epstein files. Watching the White House and the Lincoln Memorial and these centers of the United States and its heritage being used as a staging ground for this nonsense corporate degenerate slop would reduce the people who fought and lost their lives to build the foundations of the United States to tears. You could nuke Washington, D.C., and it will be less of an embarrassment for the United States than this. This is what an empire crumbling from within looks like. Once again, these are the images that are going to define the United States for years to come. Trump will be gone, but the shame will remain. Just my opinion, follow for more.
Nah, this man Donald Trump fell asleep again, bro. Every single event this man go to, bro, he is falling asleep. Now he fell asleep at his UFC Freedom 250 event. Boy, that fight must have been mad boring for this man to be falling asleep during a fight. Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, this man knocked out, bro. Listen, the man just turned 80 years old today, so obviously he's gonna be falling asleep. Shit, him and Joe Biden be falling asleep. Once I saw that Donald Trump fell asleep during the Oval Office meeting, bro, this man can fall asleep during anything. Anyways, what is your thoughts and opinions about this whole thing?
Guess how much Josh Hokett lost after insulting First Lady Michelle Obama? Josh Hokett showed elite athletic talent from a young age. At 6, he became a U.S. youth wrestling champion. In high school, he won the 2016 CIF California State Championship, ranked number 3 nationally, and was also a key football player. He turned down top wrestling scholarships because Drexel University had no football program, and instead joined Fresno State as a walk-on. In college, he placed 5th at the NCAA Wrestling Championships and became an All-American, Fresno State's first in 16 years. After graduation, he signed with the NFL's San Francisco 49ers as an undrafted free agent, but was cut within 2 years, later moving into MMA. With his wrestling background, he built a winning streak in Bellator and LFA, and in 2025 earned a UFC contract through Dana White's Contender Series. At the White House Freedom 250 event, he defeated Derek Lewis and entered the heavyweight top 5. He was set for major income growth from fights and endorsements, but after a controversial interview involving First Lady Michelle Obama, backlash led to multiple sponsors pulling out within 24 hours. The incident is estimated to have cost him over $1.5 million in direct and indirect income, leaving his net worth at around $1 million.
Michelle Obama is a man. That's the slur that one of Donald Trump's UFC fighters yelled out last night on nationwide television from the White House with Trump watching. Let me show you the video of Josh Hokett, and then we're going to talk about it.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America?
Now, let me give you that in context. The larger thing he said was, shout out to Trump for having the balls to put some shit like this on. There's only one person more incredible than the Incredible Hulk, and that's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Because, you know, nothing says Jesus Christ likes putting out racist tropes and sexist tropes about women. Let's have a chat about Michelle Obama. I got to meet Michelle Obama a couple times at the White House. I was lucky enough to be invited to the White House Christmas party. Michelle Obama is a beautiful woman in person, stunningly pretty woman, but more importantly and more impressively, her persona, her energy. There are certain, I've lived in Washington for 40 years pretty much, and have worked with some of the most important people in town. I've certainly met some of the most important people in town. I've met multiple presidents, and the most powerful people in town, I would say, have almost an aura about them. They project power, they project energy. They almost have like a 10-foot bubble around them that you don't even want to enter because you're like, oh my God, it's them, right? Michelle is like that. We go through the receiving line at the White House. Obama and Michelle are there. And you go up to say hi at the Christmas party and you get a photo with them. And President Obama, literally twice, 2 or 3 times I've been there. President Obama is like, 3 times I've been there. I was like, hi, nice to meet you. Couldn't care less, right? I mean, dead fish. I love the man, but dead fish. Michelle, hey, how are you? Oh my God, you're from Chicago. Where are you from? Oh my God, that's so great. Every freaking, and you only get like 3 to 5 seconds to talk to them. It's nothing. Your world opens up when you talk to Michelle Obama. It is like you're connecting with her. I mean, it is hard to explain. It is a skill in politics. She doesn't want to run for president, doesn't want to run for politics. It is a skill in politics to connect with people like that. The most, again, brief meeting with her 3 times. The most sincere, nicest, kind, energetic, soulful, empathetic human being you will ever meet, and actually a very gorgeous woman in person as well. So the next time you hear some of these jerks slam Michelle Obama, keep in mind, by the polls, 16% of the American people think it was appropriate for Trump to hold that event at the White House last night. Only 30% of Republicans think it was appropriate. So the next time you hear these guys run around and say how, oh, you don't understand America, why they wanted to have a fight at the White House with big lights and planes and explosions. Yeah. Most Republicans didn't like it either, and pretty much no Americans liked it. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining.
Yo, am I tripping? Or is Instagram trying to push that Michelle Obama is a man and UFC fighters is calling her out? Who cares? Don't y'all realize some way bigger news is going on? Like Iran is saying that they agreed to a $300 billion reconstruction fund and ceasefire, and Donald Trump is saying that that didn't happen for real. And with all of that being said, the stock market is pumping up because they believe it's real, even though Donald Trump is saying it's not. We setting ourselves up for the good old taco trade, aka Trump always chickens out, which is not political, but it means Trump says one thing, the stock market runs. He says another thing, the stock market is gonna fall. So be ready for an opportunity. Go ahead and take a screenshot of this. I curated the facts for you. The performance and down days on the market. Totally, we got 44 down days on the whole market. The average drop has been 64. And then we got right here, the biggest one has been 2%. But here's the kicker. The average consecutive days of falling is just under 2 days. So if you see the stock market fall 1 day, 2 day, what we doing is we playing it back up for the taco trade, baby. The longest trade fall has been 4 days. Let's do some of the math on that. Don't get afraid. They said the market was $755. So that means if we drop 2%, that'd be just around here at $740 almost. We do that. We play it up by buying what's called a call option. You do not need a lot of money to do this. And we made 95%. If you want to learn how to do stock options, then write the word how. Come and join the team. I'll send you a link. Make sure you're following the right people on the internet.
And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I right, America? Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Hogan.
So as Hogan wraps up his interview, walks away, you can see the president there on the other side of the ring. He can be seen sort of half smiling as there's a mixture of cheers and boos. And when CNN asked about Hogan's comment, the White House refused to directly address the question. The UFC is commenting, though. CEO and President Dana White called it nasty and false and dismissed it as nonsense.
Donald Trump just fell asleep at his own UFC event, his birthday party, and he's passed out. Oh my God. This is so crazy. He did not move a muscle that entire video. You could see like Dana White sitting next to him was actually moving. Trump seemed frozen in place. You can see his eyes are closed. And what's so funny about that video is after it started going viral on Twitter, he put a hat on so you couldn't see his eyes. Either he did it or somebody on his team gave him the hat and told him to put it on, but they were blocking out his eyes. He falls asleep at NBA games. He falls asleep in the Oval Office. He falls asleep at UFC events on his birthday, his big birthday bash that he did all this stuff for. He fell asleep at. 25th Amendment right now. He can't keep doing this.
Strong men, men who are truly role models, don't need to put down women to make themselves feel powerful.
Hopeful?
It was pretty great, yeah, a lot of excitement. Yeah, it was a good time, man. I like the fights anyway, so.
Yeah,
a couple quick knockouts. The last fight was pretty good. So yeah, good stuff.
I got to ask, what do you think of Josh Hogan saying Michelle Obama is a man?
I think it was probably the most unexpected and unintentionally hilarious moment of the night. The whole place kind of erupted. So I think you see online that kind of blew up. So,
it was kind of weird though because it's celebrating America event and then she's part of American history.
Listen, you got to smile a little bit. It's funny. Just joke around. It's Hogan. It's Hogan. You're not here reading the Declaration of Independence.
When it comes to black people, and I mean every single black person around the globe in this world, I'm Nat Turner. Call me Malcolm X. I don't play about black people. I do not play about black. I don't.
Fuck them. Again. Fuck them. Them and you is not friend. Fuck them. Them no need to be in your life. So you nothing but trouble and strife. Fuck them.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you?
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.